Yo guys, what's going on? Listen Manuel, back on the channel. So, I think it was like 3 days ago now, we've just fully wrapped the 2022 season up. That was, I think it was about 12 weeks of prep with 3 shows. And I basically just wanted to go over all of them, just to kind of give you guys a little insight into the show days, kind of like how I was feeling, what was going on. Because we didn't really have enough time and resources to kind of get like full show days together, because I was very focused trying to keep my stress levels down. So obviously worrying about a camera is one extra stress, so I just thought to film all 3 shows and then eventually show you guys the finished products. But we'll start off at the very start. So the BNBF Midlands, this is where I started this year. Last year I did the Southern, this year I did the Midlands because I needed to qualify as a junior. We had 4 weeks for this one. So me and Leon, we had 4 weeks to bring, I think I ended up bringing maybe 4 or 5 kilos off, and then also being able to peak as well. It was difficult, it was very difficult, but we got it done in the end. I think so. That was the first showing, and we'll just kind of go over a couple of the little bits I got, and then we can kind of see what we're thinking. But realistically speaking, I mean, I think we did pretty goddamn alright. So just looking at it from like my sort of perspective, I was very happy with the kind of package we brought, especially with the time scale that I had to kind of dig. But I think I was in a very good position anyway. So I was like cruising around like 81 kilos or so. So I was walking a lot. I was doing about 25k a day, obviously because of work and stuff. So I was losing a little bit of weight off the off season anyways. So I had a very good starting position when it came to my conditioning. Obviously my muscle maturity, my muscle mass has like blown up in the off season that I just had, and it was very nice, to be fair. Just a lot of heavy weight, you know, shifting weight as I do. But yeah, so here we go. Even on the quarter turns, I'm extremely happy with the way they came out. Moving over to some of the mandatories. I think this time I came in like realistically looking, I needed to make sure that my presentation was on point, and I did that, and I did nail this, because these guys had a lot more time than me to dial in with their condition, especially for a qualifier. They had a lot more time to dial in. I only had 3 weeks, so I needed to make sure that my presentation was immaculate. I could not miss on my presentation, because that would just ultimately, it wouldn't be no good. So yeah, like I think looking back at it now as well, I had a lot more fullness in my physique at the start of the season, as you would obviously, because the carbohydrates are a little bit higher. I had a little bit more fullness, obviously going onto the stage and stuff, and I feel like it did deteriorate and drop off towards the end of the season, but that is normal. But I feel like that's probably why this is probably my second best look through the season. But overall, the package that I brought here, 10 out of 10, I was extremely happy with it. We came in probably, I would even say like 70% or so. After this I did dial in a lot more. But yeah, what I'll do, whip up the posing routine, of course.
I've been trying to call, I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you could show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through your drawers. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm running out of time, cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, babe.
So the posing routine inspired by Terrence's 2022 Arnold Classic routine. He had 2.5 minutes, I had 1 minute. I wanted to put some of my poses in there as well. So it was just a chop and change at this point. But yeah, a lot of stretching was required in the off season as well to make sure I got that right. But I was extremely happy with the way that came out. Like I was very, very, very happy with that routine. And it kind of just set me up to have even better ones in the future for the rest of the season. But obviously we came first out of a good 7 in the lineup this time round. I was extremely happy with that result, obviously. Just thinking that I prepped for 4 weeks for it. So there was no way that I could have been like disappointed in myself, because I did everything that I could have. But yeah, so that was the first showing. Once this was done, obviously we moved over to starting prep for PCA. So PCA Open Classic, we did the London qualifier. This is an untested federation. I was chucking myself in the deep end, going into a gunfight with a spoon. But yeah, I had to really prove something to myself at this point, just to see if I could really do it. So I think this one meant a little bit more to me about where I want to go in the future, if that makes sense. So I really needed to kind of step up my game for this one. So we ended up dialing in for, I think it was 2 weeks, and then I peaked. So I think it was 3 weeks away from the last qualifier I did. This sounds about right. Or it might have been 3 weeks digging and then 1 week peaking. So the same sort of principle as the first one. But yeah, open classic I did. So obviously no caps, no weight caps. It was only the height cap, and I was going against people that were a lot older than me. So I just turned 20 at this point as well. You got to remember that. So I was like, oh God, I'm really going into this on like with every disadvantage that I could possibly find. But yes, without me talking anymore, I'm just gonna show you kind of what I seen. We can talk through it. So obviously, as I walk out, you can kind of see that I'm just a lot fucking smaller than these guys. These guys are a lot bigger than me. As I said beforehand, presentation is key, and that is something that I can always hold above everybody else. So that is what I tried to do. I tried to do my bit to try and hold myself, present myself well in this situation. So I just had to kind of make myself look as big as possible, small waist. Make sure I'm hitting all the poses without hesitation. Make it look like I'm not even sweating. It's not even difficult. So that is where I went correct. I did come correct in this one. And this could be one of my most favourite showings, my best showings. But I ended up getting moved to, obviously we had the winner in the middle, and I was right next to him at one point through the pre-judging. And I was happy with that. I was very happy with that. Where were we? I ended up getting moved into the middle. I was extremely happy with that. But just to be able to stand not on the edge kind of meant like a good amount. But I just made sure that I showed the best physique that I had. I brought the best physique that I ever have to a show here. My presentation was perfect, realistically. And here is the routine for this one.
Thank you, Lewis. Can I have all competitors in the centre of the stage, please, for a 60-second pose.
I was able to scoot myself straight to the front when we did the pose down, and I was quickly able to hit a nice archer and a nice front double bicep, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. And I think as we kind of got to the point where they were calling out the placings, I didn't really expect much. Obviously, we got 5th that got called out, and then 4th. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck me. I made top 3 in an untested fed. And then 3rd got called out. Phil being extremely happy with his 3rd place. And then we were just kind of like, yo, I fucking did it. Like, I knew I was coming 2nd at that point. But everybody else, you have always like a slight bit of hope, you know. But yeah, it was a crazy feeling to be able to do something like that, and I just proved to myself something that meant so much. I proved to myself that is where I belong. That's where I'm supposed to be. Obviously, in that division, like, it suits me the best because I can put a lot of time and effort into my presentation, and I can make sure my presentation is immaculate. And it's something that I excel at, especially in the bodybuilding scene now. Like, that is something that I do excel at, and I do enjoy doing the most, realistically. But that was the second showing of the year. In my opinion, that was my best showing. I was the most happy, the most impressed, and that's probably one of the most significant wins that I've had to this date. Like, it's obviously coming second place, it's a significant win to myself. But yeah, that one meant a lot. But 2 weeks after the PCA, we moved over to the BNBF finals. BNBF finals was an interesting one. We had some of the best natural juniors in the UK competing on one stage. It was difficult, man. It was very difficult. There was a lot of big guys. I kind of went in knowing that as well. So we had to try and bring the best condition possible, and that is what we tried to do. So we dug after the PCA. We dug straight for 1 week, and then we managed to peak. It was strenuous. I tried to keep my cool. We were at the Arnold's the weekend before the show, and obviously I had to kind of keep very grounded with there whilst I was there, food wise, make sure that I was getting my training, make sure I get my cardio. Everything had to be on point. But yeah, it was very difficult, but I think we did pretty goddamn well for what we did, you know. So overall, we got second place at the BNBF finals. Lost to a very good athlete. He's going to be brilliant in the 212 class when he goes. And he was just holding the masses, insane. But James, you're a ridiculous man. But yeah, what we'll go over some of the clips for this one as well. All right, cool. So BNBF finals, kaboom! We were walking out. Very good standard of juniors. Obviously, I had to try my best to hold my own. I think with this show, I've spoke to everyone before obviously kind of making the video, and I think at the start I kind of struggled to switch my legs on a little bit, and I feel like it did make an impact on my physique at the start and sort of the way that I presented myself at the start. But I think everything else was fine, but I felt like I was missing something. I think I was missing a couple of my poses. It wasn't my best for my composure, I guess you could say. Like, my composure this time around wasn't the best, but I tried to make sure that all my poses were spot on. I tried my best at least, but yeah, to be fair, I feel like this was a very good showing. It was the latest show in the year, so there's only so much you can sort of expect. I could only expect of myself, but I tried to show my best. You can kind of see where my condition is better than it was beforehand, especially in the legs midsection, and then also my lower back as well, and my back in general. It did come in a lot better, but I feel like it was a bit difficult to kind of hold on to the amount of size and the amount of carbohydrates that were in my body as well, because there's only so much I can do in that sense to kind of keep them in and then keep good condition as well. But always for the finals, they always expect better condition. That is always what they expect. Instead of you being a lot bigger, they'll always expect better condition. The side tricep with the leg in front is a lethal shot. It's always going to be a good one. But as you can see, James next to me, an absolute unit. So it was a good battle of the day. It was a good classic versus 212 battle, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it out of everything, man. It was brilliant. But yeah, I'm extremely pleased with some of the shots that I was able to hit. The look that we were able to bring as well, like it was good. I think this probably being on par with the look that I brought at the start on the qualifiers. I would say, like, in my head, obviously I was in better condition, but I wasn't as full, so I lost a bit of size. for the conditioning here. I had a bit more size in the qualifier with less condition. So I would say it's very par. But I feel like in the middle, the PCA was it was like a perfect run, in my opinion. And then we have the amazing routine inspired by Terence, obviously. He had a long more time than me. I had to whip this up in a week and practice it. It was probably the most difficult and the most complex posing routine that I've ever done. But I'm extremely happy with that, extremely content. I know what my skill base was now, obviously, but from doing, I think like two posing routines beforehand this year. And this was probably one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. But yeah, here you go. But that was one of my proudest moments, to be able to just go on and hit everything I wanted to hit perfectly. And obviously, as you can see, the classic trunks came on at this point, because I think after the pre-judging, I was a little bit down, just because I knew my legs weren't on, and I sort of been moving around a little bit too much. But I felt like I could just do better in my head, because I expect a lot of myself, you know. And I'm sure a lot of you guys understand that when I say that, but I expected a lot from myself. But yeah, from here, I think once we came on, I came alive at this point, because I just felt so much better with those trunks on, to be fair. I feel like they suit the physique better. We can bring the physique out, and obviously it is very much a psychological thing. Just even having those on, I just felt like, alright, cool, you know what? Like I felt a lot more comfortable, you know. But yeah, this was our final little round. Then we had our pose down. I chuck a couple photos up, and then obviously we're going through the placings. I sort of understood at this point it was very, very much between me and James. But yeah, the size one on the day, he brought a brilliant package, and I'm very fucking proud of the guy. But yeah, we got some cool shots as well. But yeah, that is my 2022 wrap up of my season. Overall, obviously we got 1 first place and 2 second places. I'm extremely happy with what we were able to do in such a short period of time this year. I really put my head down for these past 3 months and just got to work. I didn't really have time to fuck about with it, you know, because I expected a lot from myself, and I knew the timescale that I got given, and I needed to execute. There was no plan B. But yeah, I'm extremely happy with how we went there. But that was my wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. What I'm thinking of doing is a couple of different series just to kind of run us through into this next year. But the content from now on is going to be consistent, clean. And I have people to watch over me to make sure that I do. But yeah, I'm gonna put 100% effort into this as well, because I feel like it's necessary, and I do want to document a lot of the things that are going to be happening through these next couple of years as well. But yeah, so that was my show day wrap up. I'm gonna see you real soon, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Big love. Peace.